Thank you very much for joining me today, Chris. It's a pleasure to be speaking with you as always. We thought it would be an excellent idea to invite you to join our Q&A discussion today, as you have extensive background with iSAMS and have been using it effectively for a number of years now. We'll be going through a series of questions about how your experience with the system has been as a deputy head of senior school at the British School of Manila, and how iSAMS has really assisted you in that role so far. Right, so to get started, when did you begin using iSAMS and why did you move over from another provider?
Okay, yeah. Good morning, Callum. Yeah, we moved in 2016, so this I think is our 6th year with iSAMS, and we moved over because there was, I think, within our community there was widespread dissatisfaction with our previous provider. I think there was a sense that it wasn't working for us. The interface was really clunky. The functionality wasn't particularly user-friendly and the support wasn't great either. So I think we were in a position where there was a crisis of confidence in our community, I think, about the ability of our MIS to deliver. So we went through a very extensive tendering process. We came very close to purchasing other products at times. And again, based on the really strong relationships we built up with Alistair at the time, we settled on iSAMS in 2016, and I think it's fair to say we've not regretted that for one moment.
Excellent, that's a really good answer. And how would you say that iSAMS solved the problems that you described, with those other providers, and if so, how did they?
Yeah, sure. I can certainly remember coming into the school in an assessment, recording and reporting role in 2014 and getting to grips with the previous MIS, is that when you looked at the interface, it was really hard to know where to go and to how to perform basic functions. It was, it wasn't intuitive at all, I think. And I think in terms of iSAMS, in terms of regaining the confidence of our colleagues, the fact that they could go onto the interface, they could see the wizard bar, and they could see exactly what they wanted to do. To pick off a register or select a class list, and it was very user friendly, and I think it gained the confidence of staff very quickly.
Good, that's great to hear. And how would you say you found the integration of iSAMS into your school?
I think it was really good. We had, I think it was a lady called Helen came over for 5 days. And it was incredibly intensive. But I mean, I look back earlier today at the program that we went through in 2015, and it was incredibly exhaustive in terms of went through all of the modules and all of the functionality hour by hour. So very exhausting, I think, for those of us that were kind of ever present. And I think one of the reflections there is that I think iSAMS wanted to communicate and show to us all of the things that it could do before we started. Upon reflection, I think the feedback I gave is that it would have been more helpful to really embed some of the core modules and to work with us to do a little bit of the transition work, so to narrow the focus a touch, but the kind of expertise and the quality of the communication. And I think critically with the transition to a new MIS within education is that the trainer had an excellent knowledge of schools and curriculum and how schools functioned. Therefore, was not only to tell us what iSAMS could do, but critically what it could do for us.
That's a great answer, and really good for our prospective schools to understand that. Thank you. What would you say you like most about iSAMS in general?
I think, as I said, it's kind of intuitive, it's user friendly, and it does the core things extremely well. And I think for any schools looking at MISs, I think we had a really big decision to make when we went through the tendering processes. Is do you go for one of the providers who promise the earth, who can do everything? Or do you go for a provider that offers a strong core and a commitment to forming partnerships with specialist software for assessment or ASAs or whatever it might well be? And I think we made the decision to go for the strong core, and that's certainly worked for us really. And therefore that's really nice. So it means that when we're working with our ASA team, for example, we can say, go and have a look at all the ASA software. Pick up something that is bespoke, that's customized, that works for you. And we're pretty confident that we can integrate that and make sure that the information flows from iSAMS to your provider and back are really strong and robust. So I think we have a bit of a patchwork quilt of a management information system, but it's very definitely fit for purpose and fit for BSM.
That's great. And with that core, which features would you say you use most often on a day-to-day?
I think, and it fits in with my role in terms of, registration, assessment, and reporting. Is registration, of course, on a daily basis, reports, rewards and conduct, and increasingly we are using sort of pupil manager and the sort of pastoral functionality in order to ensure that we collect information about students. And another example of a system, for example, is that we use CPOMs for safeguarding, again, because we feel that that's really, really good and it works, and it's a specialist piece of software, but it works and talks quite nicely to iSAMS too. So that certainly works for our purpose.
Excellent. And just to change the line of questioning up a bit, how has your experience been with the ISAM support team?
Yeah, really, really good. And I think it was. I remember, I remember early on there was always a commitment as iSAMS grew, because I know that it's grown sort of significantly, shall we say, kind of over the years. And I think the challenge for MIS providers is with the growth, can you maintain the quality of support? And there was a very, very strong commitment early on to have support available in different time zones in different countries, because that's in the nature of support for schools. Is when you need support immediately, and sometimes you can't wait for the next day to actually. So to have that sort of 24/7 support has been fantastic, and generally speaking, very, very expert, in the sense that we haven't had to experience a situation where you ask a question and someone says, "Okay, leave it with me, I'll get back to you tomorrow." We are usually able to get the answers very, very quickly, and even with some of the quite complex work that we do, because we have in-house capacity for working at the back end of reporting with the sort of SQL functionality, etc. And again, the support there has been absolutely first class.
Excellent, great to hear. I'll be sure to feed that back to them. And the last question I've got for you is how has iSAMS helped your school to continue to operate throughout the pandemic?
I've thought about that, really, and I think the existing functionality has worked pretty well for us in the main. I suppose the only key difference is that there's some built-in flexibility into some of the modules, and certainly with our position where we've been working online, and then we've been working hybrid, and then we've been working face-to-face. What we've had to do is to build in some flexibility within our registration systems to do with students who are present in school and students who are present online. But they're present in different ways. Therefore, you have to be able to go in and to edit the configuration of the registration module to make sure you set up your registration codes and classifications. And that's worked pretty well in order to allow us to kind of track progress over time.
Perfect. That's all the questions I've got for you. Thanks so much, Chris, again for your feedback. That's I think a really fantastic insight into the level of support and needs that iSAMS and its team sort of help to provide with your system, as well as what it's like to be an iSAMS school from a deputy head's perspective. So thank you very much. That just about concludes all the questions. So yeah, again, thanks so much for joining me, Chris, and I hope you have a great day ahead.
No problem. My pleasure. Thank you very much, Callum.